Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're going to completely rethink how we approach music. We're going to stop treating it like just, background noise and start seeing it as your unseen dance partner, a partner that literally dictates your tempo, your mood, and ultimately your progress. We're distilling some brilliant insights from a Chicago dance studio's guide to show you why crafting the ultimate practice mix is, honestly, an absolute game changer for anyone stepping onto the floor.
Think about your last practice session for a second. Are you out there sweating, putting in the hours, grinding really hard, but still feeling like you're somehow missing the beat? Yeah, it's incredibly frustrating. You might know the choreography perfectly, but the musicality just isn't locking in. Well, the secret solution isn't necessarily just more practice. Actually, it's a carefully selected playlist. Finding the right tracks gives you the exact rhythm patterns you need, which lets you practice with way more consistency and hit the floor with total confidence.
All right, let's dive right in. Section 1. Street and club beats, and how they fuel your cardio and control.
So, if you're working on hip-hop, whether that's freestyle or learning some intricate choreography, your playlist needs a really specific architecture. You want clean, upbeat tracks, sure, but you also absolutely need to mix in a few slower cuts to really master those tricky transitions. But here's the real kicker. The most crucial elements are steady bass lines and crystal-clear drum breaks. Having these sharp auditory markers makes hitting those hard musical stops and precise accents so much easier. You're not guessing where the beat is anymore. The track is literally handing it right to you.
Now, flip that over to house and club dance. For this, you need to prioritize long, driving mixes with really consistent kick patterns. House demands incredibly high-energy movement. It pushes your cardio endurance to the absolute limit. But, and this is absolutely key, you have to structure in a couple of down-tempo songs. You need that moment to just reset your breath and let your body recover between those heavy, intense rounds.
It's actually fascinating to see how the needs within different street styles completely diverge. The steadiness you need for hip-hop control is just totally different from the continuous, gradual builds required for house endurance. I mean, one style is asking you to stop on a dime, relying on that heavy, grounded bass line. The other? It's asking you to keep building momentum on top of a driving kick pattern. Your music simply has to reflect those specific physical demands.
Moving right along to Section 2, partner rhythms. We're looking at Latin and ballroom dynamics here.
When we slow the pace down and add a partner into the mix, everything changes. The music diverges in a massive way. Latin dances, think salsa and bachata, absolutely thrive on strong percussion. We're talking congas, the clave, and syncopated rhythms that keep all that complex footwork perfectly aligned. On the flip side, ballroom styles like the waltz or swing demand a totally different auditory landscape. They need lush, orchestral, polished arrangements where the phrasing is crystal clear. That way, you and your partner can just glide, perfectly in sync.
So if you're putting together a playlist for Latin dance, you can't just pick one speed and call it a day. Strategic variety is your best friend here. You want those faster, high-energy songs specifically for your flashy solo moments, those shines. But you also critically need medium-tempo tracks. That medium speed is really where the magic happens. It's where you drill your partner work and refine your styling without feeling like you're rushing the technique.
Meanwhile, over in ballroom, whether it's the cha-cha or a classic waltz, adding slower classics to your rotation is just non-negotiable. Seriously, you cannot practice a solid frame, smooth turns, and highly controlled foot placement if the music is forcing you to rush. Slower tracks act like a magnifying glass for your technique. They let you perfect the raw mechanics before you ever try to bring it up to performance speed. All right, up next is Section 3, Technique and Expression. Let's talk contemporary, ballet, and jazz.
In disciplines like contemporary, lyrical, and modern dance, a monotonous playlist is basically your worst enemy. Here, musicality completely rules the routine. The emotional and physical dynamics are tied directly to every single note you hear. So your playlists have to vary wildly in intensity. You need to swing from moody, mid-tempo tracks to really train that deep musicality, all the way up to high-impact anthems that fuel large jumps, intense floor work, and highly expressive dynamics. The music literally has to give you the energy to fly across the floor.
Let's contrast two incredibly foundational styles, ballet and jazz. For ballet warm-ups, you want tracks with a super consistent rhythm and gentle acoustic builds. It's all about precision and slowly, carefully awakening your muscles. Jazz, however, totally different energy. You need much faster numbers with incredibly crisp instrumentation. It's that absolute sharpness in the music that allows you to nail those clean isolations, sharp lines, and signature dynamic jazz accents. Which brings us to Section 4, the rhythm blueprint. Let's actually build your perfect playlist.
So how do we actually take all this genre-specific insight and turn it into something you can use? The source material gives us a super powerful 4-step framework that works no matter what style you're studying. Match tempos to your goals, keep a tight track structure, plan your warm-up versus your active practice, and balance your variety. Let's break down exactly how this looks in action.
Step 1 is all about intention. Please, whatever you do, don't just hit shuffle. Actively use faster beats when your goal is to drive your cardio or push through a really intense technique drill. And conversely, deliberately pick slower beats when you're trying to refine precise timing, find your balance, or master your control. Honestly, just let the tempo do half the heavy lifting for you.
That brings us to step 2, and I really want to highlight this because it's a golden rule. 10 to 20. That is your magic number. When you're actively learning a new routine or refining a specific technique, you should repeat the exact same 10 to 20 tracks. Doing this builds incredible consistency. Your brain actually stops trying to predict the music and starts internalizing the rhythm instead. It completely frees up your mental bandwidth so you can focus entirely on your movement.
For steps 3 and 4, I want you to think of your practice session like an arc. You want to start with easy, comfortable grooves to safely warm up. Then, peak later with those high-energy tracks once your body is fully prepped and ready to go. On top of that, alternating styles or subtempos throughout that arc acts as a massive defense mechanism. It actively protects you against physical fatigue and, just as importantly, prevents that mental monotony that can totally ruin a long practice session.
Taking the time to curate these tracks isn't just about playing DJ for an afternoon. It translates directly to a much tighter roadmap for your personal goals. As the source material points out, understanding whether you lean towards choreography, freestyle, or partner work lets you tailor your music precisely to your schedule and your skill level. And that level of pure intention, it means you're going to see way faster progress every single time you step onto the floor.
We've seen exactly how the right bass line, the perfect tempo, and a solid structure can transform a practice session from incredibly frustrating to absolutely flawless. Your perfect sonic partner is out there, just waiting to be put together. So I'll leave you with this. Knowing what you know now about matching music to your movement goals, what track are you going to choose to drive your next big breakthrough? Go ahead and open up your music app, start building that blueprint, and we'll see you on the next explainer.